Well, hello, good day to you. Welcome to Life Online Daily Devotions, LCF family. If you're a guest here, just tuning in, great to have you. I'm George Voles, youth pastor at Life Christian Fellowship. And let's just get right into the devotion, shall we? Let's talk some family matters. I know many of us maybe have our fill of family, being quarantined maybe with them for extensive periods of time, and I know that can create some tension and some things and maybe some responses that we're not usually used to. But let's just talk about that. I have a question for you. What do you think about when you hear the word family? I know for me personally, my family is very close geographically. However, relationally, we may not be as close as many families typically are. I know for my wife's family, they are very close relationally. However, they are not so close geographically as they're spread out throughout the states. But I know one thing is for sure: when it comes to the spectrum of family, it can be incredibly awesome, and it can also be awful, and that can move. That spectrum can sway from one side to the other day by day, and very rarely does family sit right there in the middle. But we've all experienced both sides of this, I'm sure, because I think it's fair to say, all of us that are tuning in, that every family is unique. And if we had one sentence or one word to describe maybe your family or my family, I would say that word is, it's complicated. We love each other, and yet it's complicated. So when these things happen, some of these events being, with family too long or what have you, disaster can happen, right? We all have different personalities. We have different ways and styles of communicating. We have different ways of processing things. And although we can love one another, it can be difficult just being with each other, especially for long periods of time. And we've all experienced that in the recent months. But that kind of chooses, when those moments come up, that chooses us we kind of become a role within the family. And here are just a few examples. Some of us become the mediator, right? The one that has to bring balance. Some of us, what I'm excellent at, is becoming the avoider. And you just walk away and you disappear. And you just avoid the confrontation. You avoid the anger. You avoid, the conflict, whatever. Some of us are the instigator. And you know who you are. And of course, there always has to be a comedian in the midst of it, just to kind of laugh off the tension. But I want to take a look at a passage today from the book of John, where in fact Jesus, he's with some of his closest friends, and now they've been with Jesus, walking with him, observing him, being with him for 3 years plus. And I would say that this is more of a family feel more than a friendship at this point. And after spending 3 years of living and traveling with him, this is the night that Jesus would be arrested. In fact, it's the night before he would be killed on the cross at Calvary. And he's with his friends. And now Jesus loved his disciples, and knowing his time with them was coming to a close, listen to what he did. It was just before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, and that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. You guys know this story. You've probably heard it a ton of times. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that was wrapped around him. And then he says this, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another. By this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. Now, this is not typical. Jesus was a man of authority. He was a teacher. And for him to take the role of what typically would be the servant's role to wash the guest's feet at a home, this says a lot of what Jesus is trying to emphasize with his last moments with his family, with his friends. He's saying, see what I just did? See what I just did for you? How I took the lowly position of the servant. I washed your feet. See what I did, and go do it. Do that to others. Love others. Serve others. And I know it's not typical today's age in our customs to wash someone's feet as they're walking in the door. Although I know my wife will have all of us take our shoes off before we enter the house, and that's a close step. But I know that she also expects a foot rub every night, which I'm happy to do because I love my wife and I want to serve her and love her in that way. But there's ways that we can love one another, how we can love our teachers, how we can love our family members, how we can love our neighbors. And Jesus drives the point home right here on one of the last night that he will spend together with his disciples. In fact, this was even a bit of a tense moment, whereas he points out that one of them is going to betray him. And then he even turns to Peter and tells him that he's going to deny their friendship within a matter of hours. And that's a complicated moment in a family, if you ask me, because he said it in front of all the others. You know, so Jesus was driving home that love is what matters. And praise God, he restored Peter. But this is the question that I have for everyone here. In other words, how will people know that you are a follower of Jesus? You know, we are to love. We're to love our friends, our teachers, strangers even. And even your family will know your faith by the way you love. The answer is simple. It's love. So here we go. Friends, teachers, strangers, even your family will know your faith by the way you love. So, love on someone today. Blessings, guys. Enjoy.